Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Woody's Outdoor Gear Reviews. Today we're going to be doing another Swiss Tech video. So what we have was the go with the set that we've already reviewed quite a few of the newer Swiss Tech stuff. We're going to be looking at the Swiss Tech Hacken machete, and we're going to be looking at the Swiss Tech Helfen 12-in-1 multi-tool. So most likely, let's go over the small little multi-tool first, and then we'll go over the hatchet. And guys, just keep in mind, this isn't a review, it's more of a preview. We're going to go over what they are, what the features are, and then in a later video, I'm going to do one on the chopping. We've been under, I guess, tornado warning all day yesterday. Had 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Weather was really bad, raining. Today, it's a little bit nicer. Still very windy and chilly, so sorry, excuse me. Just for sake of video editing and all that, we're gonna wait till a little bit nicer weather, get out, and then show you what some of these tools will actually do. Because I know a lot of comments were like, "Well, how does it perform?" I've used some of them already just for my own testing, but we want to do a video and let y'all know, I'm not one of those guys that does a review to break a tool. That to me, I mean, even if somebody gave it to me free, I don't really want to show, put it to that stress where I'm purposely trying to break a tool. These guys do a lot of things that are outside normal everyday use. I'm going to show you how it works for everyday use. And then let you decide whether it's something that fits into your process or not. So, like I said, real quick, we got the Helfen. I saw these. They weren't super expensive. I think it was like $22. I've had a Victorinox in the past. I think I still have it. I would have to find it. It's just a little small, or medium-sized Swiss Army knife that almost has exactly the same functions as this one does. So, and of course, it's in the same packaging as most of the new Swiss Tech stuff are now. And, I really like the way it feels. I like the grip on it. It's a, G10 handle. You can see their little Swiss Tech logo on there. And the one little pop of red, like so many of their other tools. It doesn't say that I was able to see what the steel is made out of. It just says that it's made out of, I think, stainless. Yeah, it doesn't really say exactly what it's made out of. But anyways, so real quick, you got your can opener, your flathead screwdriver, and then a wire stripper. On this side, okay, you have your can opener. I guess this would be your main blade. And nowhere on there does it, give you like a, that I see where it tells you what it's made out of. Seems to be fairly sharp. I do like the fact that it has a hole there. I don't have any fingernails, guys. These little nail indents, man, sometimes they're hard for me to use. But get a little place there for a keychain. On top, you've got your typical Phillips. And I'll tell you what, guys, a lot of the Phillips tools that are on, kind of like Victorinox stuff and this one, I just think that the Phillips is better, in my opinion. It's more like a traditional Phillips than the ones that are more square and flat. I just think, to me, these work a little bit better. Something here. If I had fingernails, I could get it out. Okay, it's just an awl. And some people are like, hey, I don't need one of those, but they're good for sewing in the leather, or sewing leather, making a hole in leather. Also good for making a hole in, a small piece of wood if you were running some paracord through there or something like that. So it does have a purpose. And, I mean, you could use it as a box cutter, cut tape. I mean, it's fairly sharp. So, I like it better than the corkscrew. I don't really have a use for a corkscrew. I've seen a lot of people use corkscrews for different things, for making holes as well. And okay, if y'all have a good function for the corkscrew, let me know what you've come up with. It's got your, Swiss Army knife style tweezers. We got on the back, I would imagine that's your little toothpick. Yep. But there's a lot of similarities to the Swiss Army knife that has the same, functions as this one. But, there's about a $9 to $10 difference in price. And I do like the texture of these G10 handles as opposed to the slick, red handles of the Swiss Army knife. But all in all, it's a good little tool for the money. I like it. It's lightweight. I think one of the biggest selling points on these is actually the scissors. I mean, it's got a good pair of scissors. And then your big flathead. But they actually cut fairly decent. This is the plastic that came with it. Try it out. Yeah, not a problem. Cut right through it. So I do like the scissors on this. So if you needed scissors, small little, everyday carry, throw it in a bag, throw it in a pocket. You can fit it in the fifth pocket of your jeans or whatever. And I think it's a good little tool. If you have one, let me know if you've put it through the ringer. I know some people like to see it. Other people are like, oh, it proves nothing cutting paper. Well, I've got some knives right out of the box that wouldn't cut paper. So I don't know if this one will or not. Yeah. So it easily cuts through paper. I mean, nice clean cuts. So it does come fairly sharp out of the box. And, keep in mind, guys, a lot of times if you know how to sharpen a knife, you can sharpen it a lot sharper than it comes from the factory. So anyways, it's a good little tool. I like it. I've got a purpose for it. And let's get into the big guy, the next thing, right? Here is the Swiss Tech Hacken machete. First thoughts, it's actually lighter than I thought it would be. I do like the weight. It doesn't seem like it's got a little bend in the blade, but it's not too bad. So it's got a pretty good overall design. So what they're saying on this one is it's got a 12-inch titanium coated stainless steel blade. It's got a full size 8-inch saw back. So 8 inches of cutting width or length. Integrated ferro rod that's in the handle back here. What I like about this one is it's lockable. So that that ferro rod's in that handle. You have to press that little black detent button there, and then you get out your, standard small size furrow rod, but you do have one. And there's your little striker section on the back there. So it'll send the spark, which is good. Snaps right back in place and it will not fall out. I do like that it's not going to just fall out on you. I'm going to take this off. You can see it's fairly aggressive tooth pattern, but we'll have to see, right? Because it's kind of more like a serrated type of backing on there. You can hear my son, he's back there singing to his cartoons. But it's a sharp knife, hatchet. It kind of reminds me more of a knife. I think of hatchet as the old black-handled style hatchets that have the slight curve to them. But I think this would get the job done. What this reminds me a lot of, guys, is something I got a while back. But I do like the handles on these. It's just a neutral grip, rubberized handle that's on a lot of theirs. Then you have your lanyard, and like some of the others, this is a reflective style lanyard. So I do like that. And like I said, I do like the rubberized non-slip grip that comes on here. And it feels good in the hand. It really does. But like I was saying, what this reminds me a lot of is something I got a couple years ago. But we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and look at we'll do a comparison. It'll probably be best to show you both side by side. Let's take a look at this sheath that comes with it. So just your basic black sheath, with the rivets in there. A lot of people said that the rivet spacing isn't like standardized on some other things where you could actually hook different components through the rivets. But I mean, you could run paracord through them, and I would imagine hook anything you want to it that fashion. But that's one thing that I think is kind of cool. It's just it's got an integrated sharpener on it. So, if you wanted to sharpen your smaller knives or any knives, you don't have to carry a separate sharpener if you're okay using this type of sharpener. I'm fine using these because I'm not trying to get something back to the sharpest edge it can be. I'm trying to get something that I've happened to dull back sharp so I can continue to use it if I'm out in the field and, I don't have a sharpener. So, it's got a fairly big belt loop on it. So what I like about the thicker ones is you got to keep that in mind. The smaller ones, keep it close to your hip. But if you were to kneel down and cut wood, you kind of would want this to hit the ground and turn, right? So it's not like trying to stick and hold you up when you're kneeling down. It will kind of, when you sit down, it'll flex when it hits the ground. Or you could push it to where it flexes when you're close to the ground, so it's not stiff and not able to move with your body. Let's see what the fit is like in the actual sheath. Well, I always put Swiss Tech stuff in backwards. There you go. So it's a snug fit. Not a lot of rattle. So all in all, you have your other snap up here on top. This one's really tight. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So that one will take a little breaking in. But like I was saying, what it reminded me of was something I got a couple years ago. And that is this. This is the Camulus Carnivore X. When I saw it in the store, I'm just like, man, I've got to have that. I've used it camping. it's a great chopper for, if every once in a while I'll bring a tarp, and I've got extendable poles now, but just to make tarp poles, just get a small tallow tree branch because they're fairly straight, about 1.5 inches on the bottom to 1 inch on top, about 6 to 7 foot long. But they have a lot of small branches on them, and this thing worked perfect for lopping off those branches. So I enjoyed using this, and I've used it quite a bit. But the drawback is, the man, there's just not really a lot of belts. You have to wear a real skinny belt to hook this to. That didn't really bother me too much because I was throwing it in the side of my backpack. But if you're going to carry it on your hip, which some people may, that belt loop is like super tiny. But that's one of the very few complaints I have out of this. Then it gives you this little skinning knife to go on the end, or you could actually split one of those same branches I was talking about, put this in there, lash it in there, and you have a little spear, fishing spear or whatever. So that's kind of not the end all be all. And then you've got a couple of different graduated sizes for if you need to use it for a wrench or whatever. I didn't buy it because it had this, but it's nice that it's in there just as a small little carver. Like I said, you can make a fishing spear out of it or a hunting spear if you needed to, or use this, make a spear, get you some distance, and make it a defensive weapon. And it fits, fairly snug in there. The whole time I used it over, I guess, about 3 trips, maybe about 10 days all the way around. I never had to worry about it. It didn't fall out. But like I said, I wasn't wearing it on my hip. When I needed it, I'd take it out of the sheath, set the sheath down, pull it out. But it's got more of like a Tonto style blade on it. But the saw teeth look eerily similar to the Swiss Tech. If you can see the difference there. Now, one thing I can tell you is they're about the same thickness. This one's probably about a 1/16 of an inch thicker, but it does have a lot more weight to it. I don't know if it's a type of steel used. This says titanium bonded. This says titanium coated. Well, you know what? Let's check it out real quick. Get our old trusty Witty's Outdoor scale here. And we'll just kind of see, if there's a big... One feels quite a bit substantially heavier than the other. So if y'all can see that, we'll zero it out. We're on pounds. Make sure it's not touching the table. And that thing weighs, let's say, 1 pound. That weighs 13.3 ounces. So there is a difference in weight. So if you're looking for something a little bit lighter in weight for a backpack or, in a go bag or anything like that, then, if weight means a lot, this is a little bit lighter of an option. And I would imagine once you put them in the sheath, I'm wondering how much of a difference that makes with this one. Now you're weighing 1.2 pounds. And you have to, take into account, you have the sharpener on that one, as opposed to this one. We'll take into account it has a small little knife on it. And you're going up to 1.6 pounds. That's on there, right? Yeah, 1.6 pounds. So that's your difference between the two. I really like this one when I got it. If y'all want to know or see more or whatever, I guess I showed you everything about it. Really don't need to do a review on it unless you want one. But that's what I thought about when I saw this. I really like this. I'm going to do some testing with it. I think for the lighter weight and the fact that most of the stuff, some of the stuff I have, the hatchet now and the bow saw, are going to go into my camping bag. I'm probably going to replace the Camillus Carnivore X now with the Hacken. So let me know what y'all think. Does anybody have one of these? How'd it perform? Do you have the Carnivore X? What did you like about that? Let us know. I mean, this is an interactive channel. There's been a lot of great comments. Some things I didn't think about, in particular, in using some of my gear. And some things that we already knew. But hey, we've helped some people with answers to their questions or gave them information they didn't have. So I love the fact that it's a channel that, man, I read the comments. I listen, I understand, and I'm trying to do the same thing back to y'all, is tell you what I know. Like I said, these are previews. A true review is when you take it out, smash it around, and you're using it for exactly what you got it for, right? If I use this to cut branches off of trees, I can't tell you how well it'll do that until I cut branches off of trees. But I'm giving you the first impression of taking it out of the box. I like this tool. I like the integrated fire starter. I like the sharpener on top. I like the overall aesthetics of it. I mean, their tools are cool looking. I like the green with the pop of red. Just a solid, crisp black sheath. I like that this isn't shiny, it's a nice titanium coating on there. And then you still have the option of sawing wood on the top. I mean, you could chop wood, saw wood, all in one tool, and start a fire. And sharpen your tool when you're done chopping down your wood. So I like that about the tool. Anyways, I just wanted to do a quick review, man. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Love y'all. We'll see you on the next one.